So you want to run analytics on some sales data that you have for your company, but you're not sure where to start, or you may have already tried and got frustrated, or you just need some guidance on what to do next. In this video, I'm going to show you an example of how you can run an analysis on real data using some of the same techniques that you would see in business intelligence, or even for use in machine learning as well. And the way that I'm going to show this example is the same way that I've been learning. I am not an expert in running analytics. However, I've had a lot of experience analyzing sales data, performance data, and things that any sales manager would be familiar with. And naturally, I want to figure out how can I use ChatGPT and AI to help me do this job better. Well, the best place to learn is to use data sets already published that are there for you to practice on. And that's why one of my favorite sites to go to is Kaggle.com, because they have thousands and thousands of different type of data sets that you can download and practice on. In addition, you can learn from some of the other users on the site and emulate their steps in what they do. And the thing that I get out of this that is of so much value to me is that I can use AI to shortcut this process, because I'm not interested in running the data models that's going to generate all of the scripting to utilize machine learning and everything else. I can use natural language processing to tell AI what I want to do and learn from the workflow of other people who are heavily involved in this space. So I'm combining two really powerful concepts here. One of them is learning from the experts and following their path, and then using AI to shortcut the learning process so I can learn how to do this on my own and then apply it to real data that I have. So the example that I'm going to use today is this project here. This is just a data set that is Walmart sales data, and it's emulating Walmart sales data. You can easily go here, create a free account, and look for data sets just like this and download it. So that's my starting point with this. So what I'm going to do in a brand new chat screen, I'm going to add in the Walmart data set. And then just to figure out what we're looking at, I'm going to begin with a starting prompt. And I know from the description on the site roughly what the data is, but I want ChatGPT to analyze it and give me a quick summary of everything that's here, so I can take the next steps. Now, I know there are multiple stores here involved. There's sales data published by week, and ChatGPT summarizes this right away. Now, what I have learned from following a lot of the different workflows on the site is there's some data standardization that I want to go through. And this is one of those areas where if you were doing this manually or through scripting, it would take a ton of time. So we're talking about things like standardizing all of the columns so they have the same value. So what we're going to do is just quickly run a prompt to analyze all the columns and make sure that the values are consistent. All right, now we've gone through and we know that in this data set that all of the values are consistent across all of the different column headers. So now we can start to do some work on this. One other thing that I've learned is that if you're going to do any type of more advanced analysis where you're going to use scripting, a lot of times they will format all of the column headers text to be lowercase. That would be another situation where that might take quite a bit of time, and you'd have to figure out how to write a formula or a script to do that. With AI, you can just tell AI what you want it to do, and now it is done. Everything's in lowercase. Now, the other thing I know is, after doing a little bit of practice with this earlier, is that all the data in the weekly sales is written in numerical format, but I want it to be easier to read. So anytime that they're talking about sales data, I want it to be listed in currency, so it's really easy for any human to read. So that part is done. So now we've got that. I just want to take another look and see what the data looks like so I can reacquaint myself with it at this point. And now we've got everything like dates, weekly sales, easy to read. So at this point, I want to start to do some analytics on this. And one thing that I can see right away is because everything is listed by weekly sales, I can anticipate that I'm going to want to start understanding how this shows up with respect to which years did this happen in, which month did it happen in, which quarter did it happen in. And I don't have a column for any of those values. So I want to build that in and make sure I have that. So when I do start running those analytics, I can utilize those values. And that's, again, really easy to do with AI. Okay, so now I'm going to add a prompt that's going to generate 3 new columns and add the values that I'm looking for. Great. So now you can see I've got a few new columns added. I've got a month column and a year column and a quarter column. So now it's really easy for me to start extracting insights from which year was involved, which month, and which quarter as well. So now let's just, for some examples, run through a few scenarios where you actually want to discover some insights. And always think about how can I use a prompt to help me tell a story. So in this case, we're just going to look at which store has the highest total sales and which ones has the lowest. And this is going to look through all the different stores and show you really quickly that there are some disparities in the sales data. Type of thing that you would want to know if you're running a geography and had a lot of stores within your region. And then you can quickly just run through a bunch of different scenarios to get more insights. So the next one we're going to ask is, tell us a little bit about the average weekly sales performance for each store. And then in this data, I know that there is a column that indicates whether there is a holiday or not. So that's another bit of information we're going to extract is what is happening within these stores when you have a holiday versus when there isn't a holiday. So that is another little detail that you can get out. And you can see we're asking questions that we might ask as humans in a meeting, and we're just using AI to extract that information using natural language. And that's the key in this whole example, is that we can now bypass a lot of the technical details about how to get the data just by using natural language, asking a question, and getting answers. And the reason why I think it's important to practice using data sets like this, because there is quite a bit of effort involved in making sure that your data set is ready to be analyzed. And by going through and following some of these exercises on Kaggle.com, you quickly discover what are some of the real practitioners doing in order to make the data sets ready to be analyzed and extract more out of it. And just with a little bit of time, you can advance your knowledge on how to run analytics really quickly. I'll just show you a few more type of prompts that you could run, and then you could go off and replicate this entire exercise on your own. Let's just go find out what's the impact of different peak events during the year. And you can see really quickly that the peak sales week on all stores, not surprisingly, is right before the Christmas holiday. And another thing I'm just going to add in there, because we did all the work to get months and years and quarters, I want to see some sales trends by months. One other thing that I've learned is that you go through this, you can ask AI, what type of questions should I be asking or could I be asking about this data set? And it will give you answers, which are all really powerful signals on how can I use AI to explore this data and get deeper into it and get better understanding. You can see right here, across all of these different stores in this entire time period, here's a really easy way to look at trends for sales data across time. And obviously, most of the revenue is produced in the holiday time period, and there's a few other spikes here and there. And you could go deeper into this data to discover why might that be. What I want to leave you with is that you can practice with real data sets like this, and you can quickly leapfrog your skill set from going from somebody who just is curious about this to getting the ability to use AI and natural language and start understanding how to ask AI to get the data that you want. And it helps you to be a better analyst. It helps you to get better at doing this in general. So I highly encourage you to take a little bit of time, follow this type of exercise, and see the type of results you get. What I think this will do for you is it will prevent future frustrations when you try to load your own data in and realize that it's not ready. By taking a little bit of time to practice on something like this and emulate some of the workflows that you see actual researchers doing, you can quickly get ahead and become very competent at doing analytics on your own data when the time is right. Okay, that's it for now. I hope this encourages you to take action and learn how to accomplish this new skill. That's it. Have a good day.